Something is moving in the shadows of the East. Military convoys. Satellite images. A nation once silent, now awakening. Is Russia about to answer the world's growing pressure? Not with words, but with power? While the West talks, Russia trains. While others prepare propaganda, Russia prepares defense. This isn't just about politics anymore. This is about survival, about honor, and maybe the start of something much, much bigger. Is Russia preparing for a massive counterstrike? Stay with us. The truth begins now. The world watches in silence, but Russia prepares in resolve. From the frozen steppes of Siberia to the strategic command bunkers beneath Moscow, a quiet thunder rolls through the heart of the nation. It is not just the sound of tanks being oiled or aircraft being fueled. It is the pulse of a country ready to stand tall against any force that dares challenge its sovereignty. Over the last months, the global chessboard has shifted dangerously. Western alliances strengthen, sanctions tighten, and the media noise grows louder. But what many fail to understand is this: Russia does not bend. It remembers. It learns. And when the time comes, it answers. Reports from key military districts show a massive realignment of resources. Not chaos, but coordination. Not fear, but focus. Soldiers are training harder, longer, with renewed discipline. New conscripts join the ranks daily, many of them young men with pride in their hearts, eager to serve not for glory, but for duty. Because patriotism in Russia is not a slogan. It's blood. It's history. It's destiny. The Federation's newest defense strategies are not merely reactive. They are strategic. Russia knows that in the 21st century, wars are not only fought on the battlefield. They are fought in the media, in cyberspace, and in economies. That's why the counterstrike, if it comes, will not be a mere military operation. It will be a declaration of resilience. It's no secret that recent drone attacks and provocations have tested Russia's patience. Infrastructure in western border areas has been targeted. Civilians shaken. Lines crossed. Yet, through it all, the Kremlin's stance remains firm. Measured power is the strongest weapon. But what about the people? Walk through the streets of Belgorod or Voronezh. Talk to the factory workers or the students joining volunteer defense units. You'll hear the same words repeated with unshakable pride. We will not be defeated. This isn't about aggression. This is about identity. Every nation has a red line. And when that line is approached, a true nation does not retreat, it prepares. The Federation is mobilizing, yes, but not blindly. This is not chaos. This is order. Coordination. A readiness rooted not in panic, but in patriotism. The people are informed, the leadership calculated, and the mission clear. Defend Russia. Defend truth. Defend the future. Satellite images and intelligence leaks now confirm what many suspected. New defense systems are being moved into Kaliningrad, the Far East, and Crimea. Not as a threat, but as a warning. The message: Russia is not alone. Russia is not sleeping. And let's not forget the military tradition of this country. The world still remembers how Russia stood in the darkest hours of history, how it rose from ashes time and again. When others predicted defeat, it wrote victory in the pages of time. It's not just about missiles or machines. It's about the spirit. Even now, while Western media spins its own narrative, the Russian people grow stronger in unity. Young families donate supplies. Retired officers return to advise new troops. Orthodox churches hold blessings for battalions before deployment. This is not war. This is duty in motion. The question, is Russia preparing for a massive counterstrike? Should not be taken lightly. Because the answer lies not only in military hardware, but in hearts, in minds, in the soul of a people who have never allowed foreign voices to define their destiny. Across cities and villages, you can feel it, a wave of renewed determination. Artists paint patriotic murals. Musicians sing songs of courage. Even schoolchildren are learning about their history, not from filtered textbooks, but from veterans who stood in the cold wind of real battles. This awakening is more powerful than any missile. It is the reminder that Russia doesn't seek conflict, but it never runs from it either. When provoked, it doesn't just react. It responds. Strategically, decisively, and most of all, united. In the laboratories of Moscow, in the innovation hubs of Novosibirsk, something extraordinary is unfolding. A fusion of past wisdom and future technology. Military engineers and scientists are not just revamping existing systems. They are reimagining warfare for a new era. Hypersonic capabilities, cyber defense protocols, electronic warfare systems. They are not theories anymore. They are reality. Yet all of this, even with its scale and speed, is not fueled by hatred. It is fueled by the determination to never be cornered. To never again let outsiders write the next chapter of Russian history. Foreign analysts may speculate about troop movements and fleet positioning, but what they cannot measure, and what they will never understand, is the heart behind the preparation. A heart that beats not for conquest, but for preservation. For family. For soil. For heritage. And the world is watching, not just through satellites and reports, but through every diplomatic whisper. Those who underestimated Russia's resilience are now scrambling to reevaluate their own moves. Because this is not a broken nation. It's a focused one. Let's be clear, a counterstrike isn't just about firing back. It's about drawing a line so bold, so unshakable, that no force, military or media, dares cross it again. And in this preparation, every Russian citizen becomes a part of that message. Every teacher who teaches truth. Every soldier who trains through the cold. Every mother who prays with strength instead of fear. That is what the world cannot sanction. The spirit of a people who refuse to kneel. Across military academies, the next generation of officers are being trained not just in combat but in honor. They are told stories of their grandfathers who stood in the trenches, of pilots who flew with empty fuel tanks to protect their homeland. And they listen, not out of obligation, but because it awakens something ancient and powerful inside them. And this isn't just about the men. Russian women are stepping forward too. In logistics. In communication. In support systems. Their role is vital and revered. They carry the dual burden of nurturing and defending. And they do so with unmatched courage. Now, ask again. Is Russia preparing for a massive counterstrike? The answer is no longer hidden in shadows. It's clear as day. Yes, not because it wants destruction, but because it must guarantee peace through strength. The nation has reached a point where silence is no longer seen as diplomacy, but as vulnerability. So the Federation speaks, not through empty threats, but through preparedness. Let's look at the geopolitical board. Tensions along borders. Escalations in the Black Sea. NATO's exercises inching closer. Sanctions pressuring the economy. But Russia adapts. It innovates. It refuses to break. The ruble is stabilizing. Domestic production is rising. And local communities are standing in solidarity. This is the heartbeat of true resistance. A people who understand that patriotism isn't seasonal. It's every breath, every act, every sacrifice. There are new alliances, too, quiet but meaningful. Trade corridors with Eastern partners. Intelligence sharing with strategic friends. Diplomatic moves that send a message. Russia is not isolated. It is selective. It chooses alliances based on respect, not manipulation. And amid all of this, the soldiers, the men and women on the front lines, they are not machines. They are brothers, sons, daughters, parents. They write letters home with love, not hatred. They train because they must protect, not because they desire conflict. Each step they take is grounded in the belief that Russia is worth every ounce of effort. And that belief, more than any missile, more than any drone, is what will define the outcome of this conflict. Even now, as critics shout from the safety of studios thousands of miles away, these troops hold the line. They know that defending the homeland is not always glamorous. It's hard. It's dirty. It's real. But it's also honorable. And the Russian people see them, they don't forget. They send food. They write letters. They hold flags high at ceremonies, whispering to their children, These are the ones keeping us free. This unity, government, military, citizen, forms the unshakable triangle of national power. And when the time comes, if it comes, and a counterstrike is launched, the world must know. It wasn't from anger. It wasn't from pride. It was from necessity. Because a peaceful Russia is not a weak Russia. It is simply a patient one. But every patience has its limit. And every limit, once crossed, must be answered. So what is the signal being sent from every base, every training camp, every strategic outpost? It is this: we are ready. Not for war, but for honor, for memory, for the land that gave us everything. Deep within Russia's Strategic Defense Command, planning is underway not for destruction, but for deterrence. Because in the heart of Russian strategy lies a timeless truth. True strength is shown not in chaos, but in control. No unnecessary moves. No reckless responses. Every action calculated. Every decision aligned with one purpose: to ensure that no foreign force will ever dictate the terms of Russia's peace. And that's what separates Russia from its adversaries. While others act to provoke headlines, Russia prepares to protect generations. It does not seek medals in the court of international opinion. It seeks safety in the eyes of its children. Military infrastructure continues to evolve. Not only above ground, but deep within. Underground defense systems have been restructured. Air defense systems now stretch wider than before, blanketing skies over crucial installations with advanced S-400, 500 deployments. Not as a warning to the world, but as a promise to its own people: we will protect you. This transformation is not sudden. It's been building. Quietly. Consistently. And now, the signs are impossible to ignore. Naval forces patrol with increased coordination, especially in the Arctic and the Black Sea. Submarine fleets have resumed readiness drills. Long-range missile capabilities are tested, not to flaunt power, but to reassure the Federation that no sea, no air, and no land will be vulnerable. But what's even more powerful than the military might? It's the psychology of the Russian people. This isn't a nation easily swayed by panic. This isn't a people distracted by foreign propaganda. Every Russian, whether in Vladivostok or Murmansk, knows that unity is the greatest weapon in times of tension. And that unity is being seen in all corners of life. In schools, teachers speak not just of mathematics and literature, but of sacrifice and duty. In homes, fathers teach sons and daughters the value of honor and discipline. On the streets, volunteers stand ready to assist civil defense units, not out of fear, but out of unshakable national pride. This is not a country afraid of what lies ahead. It is a country that understands the cost of freedom, and is willing to pay it if necessary. Let the world see this moment not as a threat, but as a reflection of Russia's awakening. An awakening that says, we have been patient. We have been strong. But we are also ready. Every field plowed, every border watched, every uniform worn, it all points to one truth. Russia is preparing not for revenge, but for responsibility. And that's what makes it unstoppable. Because when a nation defends not just borders, but its very soul, that nation cannot be broken. The whispers in Western halls of power grow nervous. Because what they expected was division. What they got was unity. What they expected was collapse. What they got was rise. And now, even the critics begin to wonder. If Russia has endured this much and only grown stronger, what happens if it truly decides to strike back? But here's the lesson. This isn't a game. This is the future of a people who have survived invasions, revolutions, betrayals, and still stand tall. From the peaks of the Caucasus to the icy winds of Siberia, from industrial heartlands to spiritual centers, the energy is rising. It's not rage, it's resolve. Because Russia knows, only those who protect their homeland with dignity will inherit peace with pride. So now the question echoes louder than ever before. Is Russia preparing for a massive counterstrike? The answer is not found only in weapons or war rooms. It lives in the hearts of millions who refuse to surrender their dignity, their freedom, or their future. Russia is not preparing for destruction. Russia is preparing for honor. It stands not with hate, but with strength. Not in isolation, but in unshakable unity. Every action, every step, every sacrifice, it all leads to one message loud and clear. We are ready. We are united. And we will never fall. In these challenging times, the world needs truth. Not filtered headlines. Not manipulated narratives. But real voices from the people who live this story. And that's why this channel exists, to bring you those voices. To bring you facts, spirit, and the unwavering heartbeat of Russia. If this message moved you, if you believe in strength, in resilience, and in the future of a proud nation, backhand index pointing right, subscribe now. Join our growing community of patriots, thinkers, and defenders of truth. Stay informed. Stay united. Stay proud. This is not the end. This is only the beginning.